Hello everyone. Chapter 3, page 40, continuing reading of Shri Sadguru Siddharameshwar Maharaj's Master of Self-Realization. And here we go. Beginning where we left off, page 40. The causal body is the state of the unknowable or the void, which is presented in the point of view of Western philosophers. This state, which is devoid of all thoughts, imagination, and doubts, is often mistakenly taken by aspirants to be samadhi, and thought to be the same as Brahman, without concepts or qualities. Nirvikalpa Brahman. When this void or state of emptiness is reached, one is likely to get a false satisfaction and say, "Today I saw Brahman." The interval or pause between where one modification of the mind disappears and another one does not arise, such as the space between two thoughts, or the intervening pause before sleep sets in and the waking state disappears, is a state of pure forgetfulness. This is what is described as the covering of bliss, Anandamaya Kosha, in the scriptures. In the causal body, all chaos, struggle, and the infinite number of waves of thought have ceased. Therefore, there is a sense of peace in this third body that is not found in the other two bodies. It is true that the aspirant experiences a certain joy, but this is not ultimate peace or even true bliss. One must understand this point very well. This causal body is the natural state of all the gods, demons, and every human being. The state of the causal body is the state of forgetfulness. The chief sign or indication of the causal body is to forget everything. For example, unless one forgets everything, he cannot get deep sleep. To say, "I was asleep, but I remembered something," is to really say, "I never slept." To really have deep sleep means not to remember a single thing. Similarly, to forget everything while in an awakened state is to enter the causal body. To be in a state where you do not know anything is to also come to this state. As previously mentioned, this is the natural state of a human being. Even the most learned scholars do not understand the nature of a human being, let alone the nature of Shiva. In order for one to fully understand this state of human forgetfulness, the method of studying the pause is prescribed. If anything is very difficult, it is to be completely stabilized in the state of forgetfulness, and to know it thoroughly. To achieve this is important in one's spiritual progress and takes considerable effort on the part of the aspirant. The saints have put particular emphasis on this point. The pause between two states is nothing but pure consciousness. The state of the Mauni, a silent one, is such that he does not allow a single word to arise. Or even if it did rise, he does not allow its meaning to rise, but simply lets it slip by. When the word rises and is allowed to impress its meaning on the inner mind, the world is born. Ignoring the word and not allowing it to carry any meaning for the mind is the eradication of the world. When the word does not energize the mind, what remains is the pure energy of consciousness. To experience this state continuously is called the state of silence. The aspirant who is about to put his foot on the third step after climbing the first and second is told that this step is the state of pure consciousness. He is under the impression that this state is the pure void, and taking this void to be Brahman, he is unable to witness his void, the void. However, when the aspirant proceeds to the fourth step, he begins to look back at the third step, being unable to see anything in the void of the causal body. Of the causal body, he wonders why the Guru has instructed him to put his foot on this step of nothingness, which doesn't exist at all. The reason is that once pure consciousness is known, there can be no trace of anything that is called ignorance. So one does not come to understand what the state of forgetfulness is. Once known, there does not arise any modification in the aspirant's mind except that of pure consciousness. Knowledge, or consciousness, presents itself to the aspirant in two ways. Number one, when there is an object in consciousness, it becomes objective knowledge, and one will experience it as knowledge of objects. Number two, when there is no object, it is experienced as objectless, knowledge or pure consciousness. When there is an object, that is called objective knowledge. When there is no object, that is simply knowledge, which is pure awareness or consciousness. With the exception of these two, objective knowledge and pure knowledge, no other modifications are present in the aspirant's mind. In pure consciousness, the word ignorance is meaningless from the aspirant's point of view. It is not possible for forgetfulness to exist in his case. Whatever is experienced will either be objective knowledge or pure consciousness, that is, without any objects. Presenting the state of the causal body to the aspirant, that it is just ignorance, a void, a state of forgetfulness, or something where there is nothing to bring home to him, is to lead him to the above fact of pure consciousness. By analogy, a teacher will draw on the blackboard a point of great length and breadth in order to teach the student about a point that has neither length nor breadth. Similarly, this is how the point is being illustrated here. If it is not done in this manner, the next step cannot be explained. The aspirant should therefore have full faith in the Sadguru without further argument and take it for granted that there is a state of forgetfulness. He should thus commence practicing what is being told and begin the process of forgetting each and everything. It must be understood that the causal body is the cause of the two previous bodies, hence the label causal body. Here the example is given of the side curtain on a theater stage, which is called the wing, from which the actors emerge and where they again disappear back into. The causal body, which is the natural state of a human being, is like the wing on the stage, and exists in the state of the form of forgetfulness from behind this curtain. All memories appear and then disappear. When we say that we have forgotten a thing before remembering it, this means that the thing was abiding there in that state of forgetfulness, and it is proved that it has emerged from that state alone. In opposition to this, when we say that we forget a certain thing, this means that the thing that was in memory has disappeared behind this curtain of forgetfulness. A memory before it is forgotten, and something forgotten after it is remembered, are companions in this arena of forgetfulness. The rising and setting of all ideas are in the wombs of this one forgetfulness, which is the common ground for all human beings. It is by reason of this forgetfulness that each human being feels he is ignorant and strives to obtain knowledge. During this struggle, the majority, unfortunately, only gain worldly knowledge, thus missing the knowledge of their true nature. When introducing the causal body in the manner described above, the Sadguru tells the disciple, "Dear one, you are not the gross physical body. and you are not the subtle body, so you should identify yourself with the causal body. For an aspirant to be in this state of forgetfulness, it means that he should have the feeling that I am definitely not the gross body, and I am not the subtle body. Therefore, all of the dreams and doubts that arise in the subtle body do not reside in me. I am complete forgetfulness, empty of all concepts and imaginings. The birth and death of the body, the miseries and temptations, the pain and pleasure, as well as all the hunger and thirst that arise in the pranas, cannot touch me. Honor and dishonor are only notions in the mind, and qualities such as fair or dark complexion belong to the physical body. But I am none of these. Nothing can attach itself to me. I am forgetfulness. Committing oneself to this lesson again and again, and becoming firmly established in this state of forgetfulness without any idea or attachments, it becomes our own nature. In this way, one experiences oneself as being completely empty of all the qualities of the gross and subtle bodies. When this practice of experiencing oneself as forgetfulness is firmly established, the aspirant definitely rises to the third step. Becoming steady in this forgetfulness, the aspirant is worthy of proceeding to the next step, to the great causal body, Mahakarana body, the Turiya state. However, before going to the next step, it is necessary to mention that the causal body, although similar to deep sleep, is a state quite distinct from deep sleep. In deep sleep, all of the senses are in complete repose, with a complete absence of any activity, and consequently any perception of sense objects. In deep sleep, all beings enjoy the bliss of being in their own nature. You do not really know their true nature. Upon awakening from deep sleep, everyone will say these two sentences: I slept happily, and I did not know anything. Like this, everyone conveys the contentment and bliss of their own nature, as well as their ignorance regarding it. In this manner, although one unknowingly conveys their awareness of ignorance, it also proves the existence of a deeper awareness. However, this does not mean that one was aware of their true self, even though they were experiencing it during deep sleep. During deep sleep, one does not experience the awareness that is present there. For example, suppose that there is a person who is unknowingly an heir to a treasure of buried gold coins. Every day he goes to sleep on the ground and does his normal begging in the morning for his livelihood. For him, the treasure is as good as not being there at all. Similarly, each human being goes into and comes out of their true nature, diving deep and experiencing bliss. However, the deep ignorance about one's real nature is there as part of the experience. It is for this reason that deep sleep cannot be the means of gaining self-knowledge, the knowledge of one's true nature in deep sleep. The aspirant has no ability, one's true nature, period. In deep sleep, the aspirant has no ability to study that state. However, this is not the case with regard to the state of forgetfulness. To study forgetfulness is to enjoy the state of deep sleep while being fully awake. The manner in which to enjoy this wakeful deep sleep is taught by the Sadguru. How does a fish sleep while living in water? One can only understand this if you get a birth in that species. How can the sleep of a fish not be disturbed by the water entering into its eyes? The secret is known only when one is born as a fish. In the same way, how can one experience and understand this deep sleep state while one is fully awake? One can only understand this by becoming a true son of the Sadguru, a Guru Putra. The causal body, which is of the nature of forgetfulness, is nothing but a very deep sleep. However, that which is described above is the silence within that is experienced knowingly or consciously during the waking state. It is not the deep sleep state that comes unknowingly without conscious awareness. Nothing is known in the state of deep sleep which comes unknowingly. However, the nature of the self can be known by means of employing the method of knowing forgetfulness which is experienced while awake. This is the difference between deep sleep and samadhi. Although it is known that forgetfulness is a state where nothing is known, the fact is that after everything is forgotten, knowledge remains. This knowledge can only be understood through the study of forgetfulness. This state of forgetfulness exists and must be understood. Deep sleep and forgetfulness are both the result of tamoguna. By way of analogy, an analysis of coal and diamond shows that both are made of carbon. This means that the coal and the diamond are but two aspects of carbon. Although this is the case, there is a vast difference in their respective values. When the ingredient of carbon is the same in both, how is it that the diamond shines and the coal is black and lusterless? The reason is that the proportion of the same component is different in the two. Likewise, deep sleep and forgetfulness share different proportions of ignorance, which explains why in deep sleep the immense density of ignorance is felt, while in forgetfulness the flimsiness of ignorance is realized. As the depth of deep sleep decreases, the onset of wakefulness arises. The man who wakes up from deep sleep is at first slightly under the fuzzy influence of sleep, and then awakens slowly. This state is the result of the depth of sleep becoming thinner or more flimsy, as the state of full wakefulness emerges and sleep ends. Deep sleep is like a pitch-black curtain which covers a lamp of the self, while the causal body, or the state of forgetfulness that is being examined, is like a thin, transparent and velvet curtain. This means that the enjoyment of bliss is the same in both deep sleep and the causal body, forgetfulness. However, from the point of view of achieving the knowledge of one's true nature, deep sleep is useless. It is like attempting to procreate by having sexual intercourse with a barren woman. The study of this sheath of bliss, Anandamaya Kosha, in the form of the state of forgetfulness, provides one with joy and is a necessary step in reaching the goal of knowing one's true nature. Having said all this, we will now observe the great causal body, or the Tura state, which is endowed with the knowledge that comes after the study of forgetfulness. Here, let us digress a little. Those aspirants who have taken the traditional mantra according to the tradition of Shri Sadguru, Baseb Maharaj, may have doubts at this point. The study of the causal body means that one should learn to forget everything. Does this also mean that repeating the mantra given by the Guru and the color or forms that stand before one's half-closed eyes should also be forgotten? The answer is yes. You have to do this. Before doing this, while repeating the mantra, the colors, and whatever forms are present, and the aspirant must check for oneself that the mental noises and chatter cease and die out completely. When concentrating on the tip of the nose with half-closed eyes in a relaxed manner, with the exception of the repetition of the mantra and the color form, there should not arise any other word or form. This having been done, even that has to be forgotten. The broom in one's hand that is used to sweep out the rubbish in the house should not be kept in the hand after the rubbish has been cleaned out from every corner of the house. The broom also has to be thrown out in the end. The Sadguru imparts the mantra to the aspirant as a discipline. He gives a tool in the form of the mantra which sweeps clean all rubbish in the forms of doubts, fear, imaginings, and concepts that have been accumulated over the infinite number of births. This tool of the mantra helps the aspirant to learn how to concentrate or focus his attention and enables the mind to become subtle. How the tool should be utilized and when it should be left alone has now been clearly explained. So I'm going to leave it there today, guys. On page 46. Much peace and love, and please join me for more reading The Master of, what's the title? Self-Realization. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.